what we encourage you to do is network, find the people who have been working in this field. We are all happy to help, to show you what has worked where we live and where we have been. And are we ready to go? Very good. And I would like to ask you to welcome again City Councilwoman from Kansas City, Missouri, the Honorable Saundra McFadden Weaver. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And what do I do now? 5 minutes? What do I do here? What's my time?
Take 10.
Okay.
We're running way behind.
First and foremost, what we had to deal with in Kansas City, Missouri was, first of all, education and awareness. And so we had to break everything down to its lowest term, so to speak, put everything in common language. And so we had to speak and reach the hearts and the minds of the people that would be most affected by changing our transportation system from buses to light rail. And we had to put it in common terms, what it would cost for them and things of that nature. We did a grassroots campaign, and here's actually one of our brochures that could be used for a handout or a mailer. Okay, and so the first thing you want to do is figure out how you get the most for your bucks so you don't overspend with the campaign itself, okay? And so everything on here is a compilation of the most commonly asked questions and the most to the point, honest answers. What we found was that most of the people that were using public transportation were people that were low to moderate income, and we had to teach people that were in moderate to high income the effect that this change in public transportation would give them, as I was saying earlier. So let's say we have an area in Kansas City known as Briarcliff. Briarcliff in Kansas City is where some of the most high income entrepreneurs live. And of course, so light rail was very attractive to them because no one had brought to their attention what effect it would have, what domino effect it would have on even their economy. So we had to help them understand, excuse me, the community service person that works at your counter, that you pay $7 an hour, you're getting ready to require her to own a car, pay insurance, pay for the gas, pay for the maintenance on the car because she won't be able to get to work otherwise. Which means that your entry-level job payment will have to be increased. In addition to that, you're going to lose about 22% of your present staff. So your training dollars are going to be increased by about 37 to 40% for the first 2 years. You're going to lose some of your most wise and experienced people due to regular attrition and or retirement. So what do? After those conversations, they began to think, well, I think light rail is not such a good idea after all. The poorer people, you'll find in most areas across this country, have lost their hope in the electoral process. So you'll find that you have an age group between 20 and 35 that is a less active voting population. We're trying to reach them back. And we also have low voter turnout in urban cores across America. And that's because people feel as though they've lost their hope. Their public trust level is 0 to -7. And so we had to go back to all of those people. We had to knock on those doors, go in those grocery stores, go to laundromats, beauty shops, barber shops, create a grassroots campaign that was teaching people how to get back to touching the flesh. Hi, I'm Saundra McFadden Weaver. I'd like to talk to you about the most growing recent threat to your economy. You have 5 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever you have, you want to get the most urgent thing out first. Now, on the other hand, the light rail people were saying, we want to make Kansas City like San Francisco. We want to make Kansas City like San Jose. Well, guess what? We're not in California. Well, guess what? We're not in New York. Well, guess what? We're not in, okay? And so we would always be able to combat that by saying, this is Kansas City. We're in the heartland of America. We have the most diverse city. We have the most wide range of economics in our city. And we have the most diverse educational range. So we needed public transportation. In addition to that, when you talk to the labor community, and that was, as you know, the labor community gets very involved in the electoral process, i.e. unions. So I went over to the unions and I said, wait a minute, guys. In order for us to bring this thing in, we've got to give up 200 jobs. We've got to give up, we're going to have 200 unemployed bus drivers. 200 unemployed bus drivers. If we bring light rail in, even if they were to take those bus drivers and put them on light rail, we would have less than 10% of them needed by the light rail system. What are you doing? If you decrease jobs, you increase welfare. If you increase welfare, you're also going to increase the need for indigent health care, because benefits have gone down, employment has decreased, unemployment has increased, the dynamics of the financial exchange or financial flow of those neighborhoods and that stabilizes the city then becomes threatened. When we did the grassroots campaign, in addition to using these handouts, we had t-shirts. Plain white t-shirts that cost $5 a piece to make or something or less, that just had the heart on it, because we had to use, you want to use something graphic that's going to grab the attention of people. And major marketing people have taught us that red is a great marketing color. Circles or heart shapes are great, great attention grabbers. So we went with I love the bus. I heart the bus. On there. Oh. Okay, you're okay? We always have time to be sure everybody's okay. And so in doing so, there we were in red. So it ended up being red, white, and blue, because the blue writing was the language and the red heart was there. The color of our buses in Kansas City are red and blue in general, okay? Except for the ones that we have on special lines that have been sponsored. We got some buses that are covered with the zoo. We got some buses that are covered with jazz themes because they go through the jazz district. So we're out there doing everything necessary to reach the different common mind and the different concerns, cultures, as well as bringing them together, saying, what do we have in common? We need the bus. And then you touch the hearts, because I don't care how rich a person becomes, the average rich person still has a heart and has a conscience. How do you reach them to help them understand that maybe you don't need the bus, but there are millions of other people that do, and without them being able to ride the bus, they won't be able to work. Our e-tax, thank you, our e-taxes in Kansas City provides 45%, our earnings tax provides 45% of our tax base. So if we were going to lose over 30% of our employees because of the lack of transportation, forcing them into welfare and indigent care or whatever, we were going to shift our economy to a broken level and an inability to come back from it. It would have taken us at least 20 years or more just to bounce back. In addition to that, always remember that the auto industry in the United States is a very large industry. One of the campaigns I was involved in several years ago was a campaign against Japanese racism. It had nothing to do with cultures. It had something to do with our government at that time spending more money in the import car business than in the entire United States deficit. In other words, if we were to shut down at that time our auto import industry and make our cars in America and drive America, we would not have had a deficit in the United States at all. So in doing so, we sent a message strong enough to the Japanese government that helped them to understand, if you're going to market over here, you're going to put the jobs over here. So they started making Japanese cars in Kansas City. So now I don't care if you drive a Toyota. But you've got to just grab the hearts of the people very passionately and be determined. The greatest thing that I came up with out of that campaign was, no is a request for more information. No is a request for more information. If you tell yourself that every time and understand that when people say no to something that is right, it means that they just need more information about it. So those are some of the things that we've done to fight against light rail, to keep our buses running. We've not only kept them running, we've upgraded them, bought new buses, and put in new signery and different types of shelters for the bus stops. We raised a bus tax. Can you believe that? We actually raised taxes, and the people of Kansas City were excited about it and happy, to the point that we won about I think it was 64% to 36%. It works.
What kind of tax was it? What kind of a tax?
It was called a bus tax, and so it's put in through your, in some areas it's put in through your property tax, and other areas through your sales tax. Mm-hmm.
We started 35 minutes late, so in order to try to get to everybody, I'll take one question right now, and then I'm asking everybody to try to keep it down to about 12 minutes. So one question? Anybody? Yes, sir.
I guess the response of the light rail people would be to deny that they were lowering service and to say that we're going to make all the buses link up with the light rail and it'll be much better. How did they handle that, and how did you respond to that?
You're exactly right. They were always saying, this is good for you, this is better for you, this is going to be cleaner, look at the pollution, we'll slow down the cars, we'll get rid of the buses, we'll slow down the blah blah, and it's going to protect the ozone layer. They tried everything, to scare tactics and all. But the truth of the matter is that our transportation was one of the best in the country, and if it isn't broke, don't fix it. And so the best way to deal with urban core people or poor people is to be honest. And they weren't doing that at all. So we just proved them liars every day, and we kept right on moving.
Thank you.